Testing, testing. Can anyone hear us online?
Have you loud and clear now, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for letting us come to present and show the growth that Sto-Rox Upper Elementary has made this half of the year so far. We're excited to show the progress, and we are on track for meeting our goals. We are going to focus on different areas. We're going to focus on the programs that we are offering. We're going to focus on attendance, PBIS, academics, and we have some guest presenters, some students from our Kindness Club and Lit Club that are coming. There will be a few that have to leave because they are playing in the 6th grade game.
Hey.
So they will be cutting out as soon as they present. We're going to start off with Kayla Neba, who runs our Kindness Club, and she'll introduce herself and let you know a little bit about the Kindness Club.
Hi, my name's Kayla Neba. I'm one of the school-based therapists at the Upper Elementary School, and I brought some Kindness Club representatives with me to tell you a little bit about our club.
He said, can I touch it?
My name is Jacob. Hi, my name is Corgan. And we are a part of the Kindness Club. We are a leadership club made out of 12 fifth graders and 6th graders that focuses on spreading kindness throughout the school. We teach others how to improve their friendships, share new ways to be kind, are role models for others on how to be kind, show kindness to people who might need it, and we help other students learn about their different sources of strength, such as family, friendship, mental health, physical health, generosity, mentorship, and spirituality. Kindness Club is run by us kids because other kids can learn from us. We can show that other kids that if we could be nice, so can they. And we come up with way more fun activities than the adults.
Way to go.
Sorry. We're also going to talk a little bit about the campaigns and activities that we ran throughout this year so far, and we have more coming up.
Hey, look at my godson.
In October, we participated in the Parent Appreciation Night. We created treat bags filled with s'mores and ingredients and labeled them with text that said, "Our family are a treat." We also created a video with our classmates to thank the parents and guardians in our district for supporting us. In November, we celebrated World Kindness Day. We made a video for the announcements that taught others how to be kind to each other, to others, themselves, teachers, and their school environment. We also made Caught Being Kind treat bags. Teachers could give prizes to students who were caught being kind. During lunch, we ran a card making table. Students made kind cards to give someone who needed kindness that day. On February 13th, we hosted Valentine's Day, which focused on healthy friendships. We shared ways to make healthy and positive friends on the morning announcements. We also sold friendship bracelets for students to give a positive friend. Finally, we had students write one way to be a positive friend on a heart to display in the hallway. We have many more fun campaign ideas to come.
Great job. That was many of their first times presenting, especially in a setting like this. So I'm very proud of them for coming up here and sharing. Now we're going to bring up Ms. Smith to share about the Lit leaders. So first, I will share that, so our Lit Leader program, this is our 3rd year for it. I will also name that I had a few other Lit Leaders who had planned on being here, but unfortunately it seems have not made it. So I will share first because Kenzie has asked to go second. So our Lit Leader program is the Leaders in Training program. It's part of the Just Discipline Project from the University of Pittsburgh. Their goal is to really be champions of restorative practices within our building, to help with behavior, community building within the school, and just anything that we might see coming up. So the students applied in the fall through an application process. They had interviews. There were references that they had to help with. They had to get weekly. We help with passing out the blessing bags that Pennsylvania Area Communities and Schools has, Pittsburgh Area Communities and Schools has. And then we meet every week to go over different leadership skills. Every other week, pretty much, we pull up some behavior referral data, not with names, but we look at that to see if there are any trends and try to discuss about what can we do as a group of students and student leaders to address those needs. One of those things that we noticed was that we saw that on Thursdays, there tended to be an increase in behaviors in the afternoon. And so students came up with this idea that we started not too long ago, that on Thursdays during lunches, the last 5 to 10 minutes is almost like a mini SEL lesson discussion at their table, that if the student leaders are at that table, then they help lead that discussion. I just sort of facilitate large group, but they help with the discussions at their table. They are also trained to help run some student mediations that we call healing circles, and they get to help in a whole bunch of different ways. All right, ready? You got this.
You got this.
You got this. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kensley, and I'm a Lit Leader. I'm in 4th grade. We met weekly to learn about leadership. Last week, we did a coffee cart to thank staff.
And then on the screen, we have just the names of our Lit Leaders, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. It's contingent on, we try to have at least 2 per homeroom so that there's somebody who can help with some of that leadership within each of those homerooms. So thank you very much.
Next up, our counselor, Rich Bauer, will talk about our attendance so far this year. We are so close to our goal, which you will see shortly, of 90%.
Hi, everybody. And as Ms. Johnson said, yes, I have some good news. We are almost to our goal. We are very close. So just to go over our goal, our overall goal is to have 90% attendance every single day. Obviously, we would want it to be at 100%. But right now, baby steps, we want to get to 90% first. So we're doing monthly incentives to get there. And some of these incentives that we're doing, for instance, we have October, we decorated pumpkins. So if a student had perfect attendance, they got to come down and decorate these pumpkins. They have a great time decorating anything. Anything with crafts that the kids are usually on board with. For November, we did PJs and a movie day if one of the homerooms had really great attendance. For December, we did a hot chocolate bar if the entire school had 92% attendance. And we were able to do 92% attendance as the goal that month because we were above our goal already at that point in the year. For January, it was going to be a snowball fight in the gym. I say snowball fight. We weren't going to actually bring in the snow, but it was going to be kind of like dodgeball. But for February, we are looking at doing a prize cart for students who have perfect attendance or who have only missed one day for the month of February. The homeroom with the best attendance will get a dress down day as well. So we have found that these incentives are very effective. And like I said, we are very close to reaching our goal thus far. In just again to discuss our percentage of regular attendance so far, last year, and now this is for the entire school year, we were at 88.9% attendance. That was our average attendance for the entire school year. Now in 2024, 2025, where we are right now is 88.5. Now it's lower than last school year, but that was for the entire school year. So where we are right now compared to where we were last year, we are much better than where we were last year. So I would expect that when we get to the end of the school year, we will be at our 90% that we were trying to reach. So that is good news.
And this information is shared with students because we hold monthly principal meetings. So the things that we're going over, the kids have exposure to it every month. The graphs, the charts, So they're seeing how they're doing, and we set a monthly goal during those principal meetings.
And the other thing too is we utilize the kids to talk about the incentives too. So we are incentivizing them with things that they want, because if the kids don't want it, it's not going to work. So we also take their input into consideration. Just some more attendance stats. So far for the first half of the school year, we've had 11 students that have had perfect attendance for the entire year so far. And we have had a significant number of students that have improved attendance. 3 of those students, 1 for each grade, were recognized during our celebration of learning. And just to discuss also for October, we actually had 74 students that had perfect attendance for the entire month of October. So, our numbers are really great, and we're going to keep working on it, and we're going to reach our goal for 90%. So thank you.
All right, if you could actually go to the next slide. So we're going to talk about behavior referrals. So if you actually want to look at the screen, because it'll be a little much to try to read through all of it, the black numbers are for this year, and then the pink, yes, and the pink numbers are for last year. And so that's looking at these behavior referrals or any time that a teacher writes a student up for something that occurs. And so specifically looking at that, a majority of our referrals have actually almost every month, except for the first month of the year, of the school year, they have decreased by a significant amount from one year to the next. And so we're seeing a really positive trend with that. If you could go to the next one as well. So with that, our PBIS team has worked really hard to come up with some different goals and incentives for our students. So this is in order of our goals that we've had this year. So our first goal at the beginning of the year was keeping hands, feet, objects, and poor comments to ourselves. Our next one was showing kindness towards others. Then we had being proactive, not reactive to situations. Staying in assigned areas, reducing those referrals to an average of 6 or fewer per day, which I will also mention they did meet that one that month, using appropriate language. And then our goal for this month is we're going to reduce those referrals again to 5 or less per day. And as of right now, so far they are meeting that expectation. So knock on wood, fingers crossed, whatever, that we keep that up, because they are more than capable of doing that. And I'm looking forward to seeing that positive trend continue.
Excuse me, real quick.
Yes.
Do you think the things you're doing are motivating them to keep on going down, like the referrals and whatnot? That's amazing
So,
to see.
I will say that I think some of the things that we're doing are motivating them. I also noticed one thing that we started with that was we put a calendar in the morning announcements that they see every day, and we put the number of referrals on there. And as they see that number, it's like,
That's amazing.
as soon as they see it, sometimes it then like eggs them on to, okay, yesterday we didn't meet it, but this is an average number for the month.
I like
And
that.
so, okay, 2 days ago we had 2. So like today we might have had 7, but today we're going to try to get less than that. Let's get none. Like, because when we did that 6 or fewer was the first time we did that, there were some days on there that they had 0 referrals, and the kids were like, okay, this is awesome. We can do this. We can keep going. So, I mean, you can ask some of them that are here,
Yeah,
but from my
yeah.
perspective, from what I've heard, it sounds like that being able to see that is helpful reminder, because especially if you're a kid who's not really getting referrals, or maybe you get one here or there, it's not a good, you don't get a good representation of like what is happening entire building wise in a day.
I like that. Sometimes you got to see it. So
Yeah,
I like that.
exactly.
I like that a
And
lot.
I would like to add one more thing. I think 2 other things have helped with the referrals. Number one, the dress code. You can tell a difference in the student behavior on the days that we have dressed on days compared to the day that they're in dress code. The second thing that I would say would be a big impact, because I would say more than 50% last year dealt with cell phones. So when they come off the bus, we have plastic bins, and the students put their phones right in. So when they go through those metal detectors, like we tell if the phone is there, where last year they would turn them in the classroom. So I think that also has cut
Like that.
referrals as well.
Thank you. I like that.
Next part is going to be on the MAP testing that we just did. So in January, we had our halfway benchmark. So the first is our math results. So the top chart, the thing that I want to point out on that one is there's 4 quadrants. That top left-hand corner is the low achievement but high growth. So where we started out at the beginning of the year was in that bottom right quadrant, and that was the low achievement. So we have increased up to, in every single grade level, up to that high growth quadrant. So the top point where the cursor is pointing is our 6th grade. They grew 82% in math this first half of the year. So that's a great accomplishment that they had made. At the bottom, you can see the chart at the top is the total overall percentage where the cursor is. And I can't see without my glasses, so I can't give the exact number. But we've made sure tremendous growth for the students, moving the colors up. On the bottom is comparison from the first half of the year to the second half of the year. We still do have a lot of growth to make, but we're on our way to making that growth. The second one is our reading, and the same thing. The entire school had growth and made it to that top quadrant for the high growth, except for one area, but they were very close. And with pushing a couple more students, we should make that by the end of the year.
Fuck.
Next, we're going to have Miss Neva go over our mental health and mentoring services that we're offering to help provide supports for students.
Okay, I just wanted to share some of these services because they've made a great change in a lot of our students, having the different supports available in school for both mental health and mentoring. So I just wanted to give a quick overview. We have the Freshly Ridge CSBBH team and the outpatient therapy teams. We have MHY Family Services, which is the company that I'm contracted through. We have Infinite Lifestyle Services, which offers both art and yoga trauma groups, as well as individual therapy. We have Allegheny Children's Initiative, which does our mental health screenings for students who are referred through our SST program. And then we also have the Highmark Caring Place, which helps run grief groups within the school. For mentoring services, we have Amachi, which works with students who've been affected by having an incarcerated loved one. We have Gwen's Girls, which is a girls mentoring program. We have Vibe, which works as violence interrupters. We have the Just Discipline Project, which works on restorative justice and healing circles within the school. We have Adagio Health and True, which is a tobacco resistance unit that our students are able to join and to learn about tobacco resistance. And then we have a lot of really great programs through PACS and our after school program. So through all of those collective things, we identify students who might need more support and refer them and get them to join and participate. And we've been seeing major improvements in behaviors and mental health through these programs. So I just wanted to share that.
And through our tier 2 and 3 of our PBIS, we are tracking all of the data to see which is working and which is not. So as a leadership team, we do go over that data monthly and revisit if we need to switch stuff up. All right. The next thing is some exciting things happening in our coding. The STEM coding lab who comes in and they provide lessons received a grant and picked us to put a new makerspace in the upper elementary. So you can see pictures of the design of how the room will look. That top picture will show there's going to be a circuit wall where students will have hands-on activities. There's different stations that they'll be able to access, and they will go in there once a week for coding class, and then the classroom will be open for teachers to continue to take students when the lab is not being used. And then this is where they're at on the project so far of what they have done. And then the last thing is, if you haven't heard, we're having a big Black History Month celebration where our after-school culture club will be performing a dance. We have our chorus, our band, and then each grade level will be singing a song. And then after that, taking a walk around the gym to see all of the projects and research that the students have done so far this month. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
letting us come and
Thank
show
you.
off everything that is going on at the upper elementary. I'd like to thank staff, students, and parents for coming to this presentation tonight. And I'd just like to give one last round of applause for all of the hard work they've done. Thank you.
Thank you. That was good. I like that. Thank you very much. Up next, we're going to have Dr. Manuel, Dr. Pope, and Mr. Luperillo for the CSI update, past, present, and future.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Man, our Viking future is so bright
Looks
with
amazing.
our kindness club and our lit leaders. I'm so excited to see what the future holds for all of them. Thank you for welcoming us to speak with all of you this evening. My name is Lisa Moom. I am the principal of the Primary Center. I'm joined by Tim Liberillo, my assistant principal, and Dr. Holly Pope. She is our math consultant through the AIU for our CSI process. This evening, we're going to explain a little bit about our CSI process, where we were at, how did we arrive at CSI, what we're currently doing, and what are next best steps to help support our students within our school. What is school improvement? It's the process for identifying the support for schools termed annual meaningful differentiation by the federal government. The results of our school improvement designate us as the comprehensive school improvement process. These are the most intensive supports that we receive through the federal government based off of our achievement scores and our attendance scores that we'll be able to unpack in a few minutes. As noted, the federal government prescribes 3 designations for school improvement. The first designation would be schools facing the most significant challenges within academic achievement. In our building grade 3, it would be our PSSA scores in reading and math, lack of student growth in other areas such as student attendance. The second designation would be ATSI, schools which perform one or more student groups at or below a level for CSI schools. And finally, our targeted school support, which would be schools in which performances by one or more student groups is at or below state established standards. You may ask, how did we get to CSI since 2018? We look at several indicators for CSI, and our 2 primary indicators at the primary center include low growth and achievement on our state standardized scores in grade 3, math PSSAs and reading PSSAs, also below average attendance for daily school attendance.
Good evening. It's nice to meet all of you. I've heard a lot about the school board, good things, and so it's nice to be in front of you today. Could you go to the next slide? So this slide, if you take a look, I know the numbers, they look kind of small to me from here. They look very big on my computer. But this is showing you how the primary center became designated as a CSI school, meaning they were designated for comprehensive support and improvement. So that happened in 2018, but as you'll see later, we lost our 2018 designation, which is a big celebration. But for the 2022 results, they looked at the combined PSSA scores of math and ELA, and they looked at how regular attendance, which is how many students came to school 90% of the time. And so that was the criteria that they were designated for CSI with in 2022. So in order to get out of school improvement for the 2022 designation, they need to do just a little bit better on the PSSAs and a little bit better on the regular attendance. And right now, where we stand, the primary center has done great work over the last few years to improve instruction overall, and it's showing in the PSSA scores for third grade. So there's enough growth and enough students who are making progress right now to say that they don't qualify for school improvement for 2022. But the attendance is the problem that we're going to have. Right now, based on the last 3 years, we did not improve enough with attendance. So that is going to be a big focus of the new school improvement plan that we're making for next year. If you could go to the next slide. So the school improvement process, I'm not just a math specialist for primary center. I'm also the school improvement facilitator. So I help the primary center through this process. It's a very involved process of improvement. And right now, we're implementing the plan that was written for this year. And we're monitoring that plan monthly and even biweekly, looking at the action steps that were made and looking to see if we met our benchmarks. And through this process, we're adjusting the course as we go along. So you can click through that, I believe. Yeah, click through that. Thank you. And then we're getting ready to start creating the plan for next year. And that includes setting the direction, making sure that we are, have a good goal in mind, a good vision for the school. We're assessing needs, so we're about to start collecting a lot of data to look at data to see where we are, where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are. And then from that, we will create a plan for the 25-26 school year. So while this isn't a circle, a nice, neat cycle, it's really not a nice and neat process. There are a lot of things going on at the same time, and the primary center is pretty much handling it very well. So I think overall, I've seen an improvement. I've been working with the primary center since January of 2022. It's when I came back to Pennsylvania and I was hired at the AIU. And from that time until now, the primary center has worked really hard to meet their goals, look at student data, and just make changes in the best interest of students. So you all should be very proud of them.
When we look at our January benchmark targets, we identified as a CSI team to look at student growth in reading, student growth in math, regular student attendance, and incorporating universal design of learning strategies, the how, what, and why of learning into our plan. We are so proud to note that as of January 30th, 30% of all K-3 students have shown growth at or above the 41st percentile on the MAP assessment. The MAP assessment, as Ms. Johnson alluded to, we have 5 various colors, and the 41st percentile is the average of ability level of our students. So we are so proud to share that not only in reading and math. And by December, for our regular attendance, please remember this is 17 or less days from the first day of school through December 20th. We were at 75% of regular daily attendance for our students. And we have exceeded at least 20% of students staff are constantly utilizing UDL strategies within the classroom. They're looking at engagement, representation, and action to help support students in large group and small group. We have a lot of teaming, collaboration going on. Mr. Liparillo is going to be able to unpack a little more of the data and our progress to date.
Of teachers using UDL, is that something that's like use it, you know what I mean, when it's available? Or like you're looking to grow that number? Like what does that look like? I'm just asking.
Absolutely. Actually, we have 100% of our teachers daily within classroom. So for instance, if
Right.
I'm in a first grade math classroom like this morning, when we look at universal design for learning, we're looking at our teachers not only teaching core instruction, but being able to scaffold and differentiate a math lesson, looking at manipulatives, counting collections, making sure that our students understand the number 10. There are two parts to that, and there's a process behind it. Back when I grew up, we would always memorize math. So now there's that theory and that philosophy so it can be applied. That's what our teachers are really striving to do daily. And we've been very impressed with that training and that coaching that they have received, not only from Mr. Liparillo and I, but from our AIU staff and friends. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give kudos to Ms. Johnson and past administration for really developing that process and that support with UDL at not only the primary center, but through it, within the district. Sorry.
No, thank you. Appreciate that.
So I wanted to clarify that these are the benchmark targets that were set last year
Okay.
in the school improvement plan. So these were the goals that we were trying to meet. And during our last quarterly, we looked at the actual data. So if you go to the next slide, you'll be able to see, and Tim can talk to you a little bit more about that.
So this shows the current CSI progress that we have achieved within the building. It's broken up by quarters, and it's broken up by those action steps: the reading map growth, math map growth, regular attendance, and the UDL instructional practices. So I'm going to focus your attention to the quarter 2 ones, because that's the most recent evaluations that we have had. As you can see, the reading and math map growth have both we've achieved 53% and 63% respectively. So if you were, our 30% growth that we were supposed to obtain has already been met as of this point in terms of growth. So we're making some real excellent progress in terms of the map and the map testing growth. The regular attendance, we started out in quarter 1 at 67%, dipped down a bit in quarter 2 to 55.3%, which is, an area of focus for us. But as of right now, we did an analysis as of yesterday to see the students that were on track for meeting our attendance goal by the end of the year. And where we are right now is at 60%. So we are seeing, we're going back up in the right direction in terms of our attendance. The UDL instructional practices has been pretty consistent across the board, as evidenced by our observations and our walkthroughs, that 100% of our teachers are utilizing the universal design for learning strategies within the classroom while working with their students. So we're very pleased to see, and this is the second year of our implementation of the UDL strategies. We're very pleased to see that teachers have demonstrated the buy-in that we would hope and expect from them in terms of using these practices to help better reach their students. And so, I think collectively you look at their instructional practices improving, and you see our test scores demonstrating growth with our students. There's a trend that's showing that we are moving in the right directions in terms of the instruction that we're providing for our students.
This slide just shows year to date from August 26, 2024 through yesterday, February 19th, 2025. Our regular attendance by grade level. Kindergarten, I believe it's 57%, first grade 62%, second grade 58%, and third grade 62%. So what's next at the SRPC? How are we going to continue to support our students and our staff and faculty and our families, not only with achievement growth with PSSA scores, but attendance? Some of the things that are happening right now, we're looking at leadership coaching, teacher coaching. We have updated professional learning communities where the teachers are really at the center of their professional learning, creating opportunities to drive their instructional practices, creating small groups, and being able to collaborate and cross-plan across grade levels. It's been very important as we look at what's best for students in their achievement, looking at conversations between kindergarten, first grade, what's overlapping, what needs to have deeper conversations, how can we support our learners. We're pretty excited We had some student focus groups in grade 3 in October and November, understanding maybe why students aren't attending school on a regular basis. What are the barriers, maybe with them, with their families? Their suggestions have been insightful. We'll talk about ways that we're going to improve that based off their suggestions. We have monthly, bi-weekly perfect attendance and most approved attendance at the primary center. Students are given opportunities to earn brag tags, bracelets. We've been able to partner with Pittsburgh area communities and schools. Our students were so proud last week when we had a snack prize cart out. Not only did they earn their brag tag, but they were able to earn something special. So we really appreciate that partnership within Pittsburgh communities and schools. I'd like to give a big shout out to our SRPC attendance and CSI committee. We wrote collectively 83 postcards to students that were at risk for attendance. Just a shout out to our students and our families, letting them know how much we care about them, how much we support them, and we want to really see them consistently in school. So that took us over 3 weeks to do, but I'm very proud that that was able to happen. Also supporting positive school improvement, we're looking at our PBIS program and plan. We have our committees working. Mr. Liparillo will be able to talk further about that. I have recently been sending principal school messengers updates out weekly. We have a newsletter going out. We're doing shout outs with attendance, any of the school information that's happening at the primary center, because our parents have said, we need further information. We'd like to have notice so we can request off at work so we can be a part of that. So we've listened and we've really wanted to include our families and their voices. Our teachers have been having teacher parent meetings as we're looking at midterm grades, as we're looking at year-end progress. Where can we best support our students? And we know that we can best support them having that communication with our families and their guardians, bringing them to school, maybe even having a Zoom meeting, going into the community to meet with them. Mr. Messina, our homeschool visitor, he's been supportive, helping us with our attendance initiatives, having attendance improvement meetings, and just trying to decrease the barriers for our families. And most importantly, we're thankful for any and all collaboration and communication with our community partners, bringing the ideas, to us and allowing us to dream big and be creative as we support our student needs.
And this slide is just giving a real quick overview of our PBIS program, Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. So the way our system is set up, first and foremost, we are in the process of, we're attempting to obtain Tier 1 fidelity in PBIS. And Tier 1 fidelity means that we are implementing our PBIS program in a way that is appropriate for a vast majority of our students. Now, the Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions that come with PBIS are, something that we are implementing here in the building. However, in terms of the fidelity status, we are still working on that. So our program is based off of, there's an incentivization program that we have put in place. The goal is to, create a school environment that kids want to come to learn. And attendance is, as there's multiple factors in terms of attendance and why students don't attend. And one of those things that we wanted to curtail, I guess, is, making an environment that kids want to be a part of and want to come to. And our PBIS program helps to create that environment amongst some of our other, programming that we have for attendance incentives and just our general operations. So how we have the PBIS program set up is we have daily incentives, weekly incentives, and monthly incentives. The daily incentives we are implementing we are giving students shields of honor. And if you can see the little guy on the left there, he is wearing a shield of honor, which is basically a Sto-Rox lanyard that has a laminated badge on it, and it says Viking Shield of Honor on it. Now, this is a thing of high regard and high esteem in that any staff member that sees these students wearing these, we congratulate them, we cheer them on, we recognize them in the cafeteria.
That's cool.
And so it's something that the kids have really bought into and are really striving for. In most cases, whenever Dr. Muma, myself, and any other staff members see them, we always stop, we congratulate them, ask them how they got it. These are tied to focused values. Our PBIS values in the building are kind, capable, and in control. and we alternate each month on what the focus value is. Now, obviously, it doesn't downplay the other two values, but it means this one's the one that we really want them to concentrate on. For example, this month is being kind. So when a teacher or a staff member sees a student being kind, they can earn the land. And the kids have really bought into it. They're really proud of it. They show it off not only to staff members, but they also show it off to all the teachers. They'll be walking in line and at a zero voice level, but their excitement sometimes take over, and they're like, "Mr. Labrilla, look," and they'll hold it up and come out, and it's really going well for them, and they really have an appreciation for it. We also track data on a day-to-day basis. Each grade level has a way in which they track the behavior from class period to class period and day to day. And they have the ability as a classroom, as a homeroom as a whole, to earn their Fun Friday rewards. We also have monthly incentives, and the monthly incentives are school-wide, and they are based on successful achievement of the PBIS goals, which in our building, if you earn a green on 80% of the days of the month, then you have the ability to achieve the full goal. For example, last month, and there's a picture of it up there in the top left that looks like a little bit of controlled chaos, but it is actually the snowball battle that we had. And I know the upper talked about it. So we had a snowball battle, and we had, it was basically a mini tournament for each grade level where there was one champion. And we had little trophies that had a snowball on it that one of our kindergarten teachers made. And, I told the kids, I said they get to keep it for the entire year, but they have to give it back for next year so that we can, redistribute it for the team that wins. So they were really excited about that. We've done teacher pie in the face. That was one of the rewards, and we tied it into obviously the number of lanyards that a student won, and we also tied it into students that achieved their PBIS goal. We've done decorating of little ice cream cone trees, things like that. We've done one, each month. This month it's movie and a popcorn. So they will, if they earn the reward, they will get to watch a movie and have some popcorn next Friday. So we also do, our incentives our incentives are also for daily student shout outs, and we have the ability to shout out students on a daily basis. Faculty members can do a shout out. We as the building administrators do the shout outs as well. We want to also recognize the great things that our staff members are doing. So we do staff and faculty golden tickets each week, where teachers earn a golden ticket, and the golden ticket typically could be, a dress down day or other incentives like that. So not only is the reward system important, but also we want to reinforce, what is expected, what is Viking behavior, and how can we exhibit that. So we also have monthly principal meetings with each grade level where we discuss, where some problematic areas were potentially the month before, what our focus value is now, how we can best achieve that focus value as well. And we bring the teachers in at each grade level as well because, they're obviously with the students on a day-to-day basis. So anywhere that they see and recognize students where their behavior can change, they're bringing that into it also. So I also have a couple pictures up there of the students wearing the brag tags where we recognize them usually during lunch. So our PBIS program, we are really trying to bring back into it, fun and excitement for the kids. We're trying to reward what our expected behavior and attendance is for the kids to really create this environment that's going to ultimately create a safe environment, create a place where kids want to come to school, where they want to stay here, and they want to do what they're supposed to be doing. So that's what we're hoping to do with our PBIS program.
You didn't use the photo of you getting just destroyed right in the face with the pie. You didn't want to use that one?
When I put this up there, I realized I'm like, I didn't put anything on the pie in the face. Yeah, I had one of me, but our second grade teacher, Mr. Athanis, the students could vote on who got to go up there. He got voted 7 times.
Oh, okay.
So, he did it he took it like a champ. That's all I can say. So.
That's what I'm talking about. Right.
We'd love to celebrate our successes for exiting the 2018 CSI designation. What that means is that we showed enough growth last year in our PSSA's reading and math scores for grade 3 and our attendance. We are so very proud. We celebrated big time at the primary center in the month of January and with the students. That concludes our presentation. We'd like to thank the school board, past administration, all of our supports, in-house and out-of-house, Cheryl Fleck, Holly Pope, Vicki Ryan, our teachers, our students, our community members. They've really been integral in our support. Thank you all for investing in us, supporting our littlest learners. So as they grow and mature, they can be ready for the upper and eventually the high school. So Ms. Schreiber and Ms. Davis have all the support that they need. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Some good things going on. I'll start. Up next, we're going to have, that's all right, Ms. Asia Davis, junior senior high school students of the month for January 2025.
Yes, yes. So, as I promised last month, I have come with our students of the month for the month of January. So, as you all know, our teachers and our staff elect our students of the month. I'm looking behind me because they showed up today. And it's not just about academics, although they are absolutely exemplar students when we talk about academics, but their characters and the way in which they carry themselves through these halls day in, day out, is truly reflective of what I expect of every student at Sto-Rox Jr. Senior High School. But I'm not going to talk long. I'm going to represent. So 7th grade was Cassidy Maza.
Hey.
Here with us this evening is Zaire Porter.
Hey. Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Don't be shy. Well, he's like, oh, man.
9th grade was Alex San Pietro.
Hey.
10th grade was Elijah McGuire. Our 11th grader is Lizbeth McComb. And Kiara Bailey was our 12th grader for the month of January. Please give a round of applause.
Way to go. Come on up. Come on up. Come on, take a photo. That's all right. We won't put you on the spot if you don't want to, but he wants to take a photo of you all, so please. Act like you love each other. Congratulations, y'all. Keep it up. That's what I'm talking about. Congrats, y'all.
Congratulations. Thank you. We'll see you at lunch tomorrow.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone, very much for presenting tonight. This is amazing information. This is great. This is what we love to see and love to keep on getting every single month. I see. Look at all the balloons back there. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you reckon that? That's what I'm talking about right there. I love that. I love that. This is great stuff. This is great stuff going on. Love to hear about this stuff right here. Next, we'll get into our voting portion of this meeting tonight. We're going to take items A1 through F1 whenever ready. Whenever ready, A1 through F1. That's what I'm talking about. Look at them balloons. That's what I'm talking about. My God kids here all shy and everything. Have a motion when ready.
Motion.
Thank you. Can we have a second? Thank you.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Cooper,
Yes.
Director Culliver,
Yes.
Director Ozowski,
Yes.
Director Myers.
Yes.
5 yeses, motion passes.
Thank you. Now I take items G1, G1 myself, A, B, and C. Have a motion when ready.
Motion.
Have a second.
I'll second.
Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Cooper,
Yes.
Director Culliver,
Yes.
Director Ozowski.
Yes.
5 yeses, motion passes.
Thank you. Congrats to Mr. John McKeever and Mr. Nate Brown. Next, we're getting to new business. Before we do vote, sir, would I like to ask you any feedback for a new business item IB1?
We're on IB1 there.
Yes,
the
sir.
General fund payables.
Yes, sir. Any information by chance?
Nothing to add to the list that's there. I'm certainly willing to answer any questions if the board has any.
Thank you. Any questions? None heard? Any questions for under operations? Items 1 through 4, any questions? We'll go to D, co-curricular leadership. Any questions? Any comments, any feedback at all? None heard. And then item E, any questions, any comments, feedback to approve the school calendar for next school year? Questions, comments, concerns?
I'll just double check. Hold on. I'll just double check with the union. Have not heard anything. We sent them the calendar, but I just want to get a positive affirmative as opposed to no response.
So should
But I think yes.
So should we table that, or
No,
should we?
Go for it. They know how to get a hold of me when there's other things they want to talk about. I'll just put it that way. We're good.
Copy that, sir. All right, with that being said, I can take items IB1 through E1. Have a motion when ready?
Motion.
Have a second?
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Cooper,
Yes.
Director Culliver,
Yes.
Director Ozowski,
Yes.
Director Myers.
Yes.
5 yeses, motion's passed.
Thank you, man. Are there any committee reports for today by chance?
The Policy and Procedures Committee, we met on Tuesday. We discussed review and revision of various policies, particularly athletics and procurement. We also discussed updating the dress code policy and its enforcement.
I'd like to make a comment when I'm allowed.
I guess make a comment.
We spent a lot of time last week talking about the dress code. I brought it up in the policy committee because obviously it's something very important to this board. It's very important to the climate of the school. The policy that you have in the student handbook and in the 5 bullets is not consistent with your board policy that you adopted in 2020. To make it an enforceable policy, you will need to go back and update that policy before staff can enforce it with fidelity. Because right now, what you asked staff to do last summer is not consistent with board policy. I'm not trying to be an obstacle, but there's a way to do things. And as a board, setting policy, because at meetings, when you say you want something to be done according to policy, I get it. I've been in the business for 32 years. But you can't say it's board policy until you follow your procedure, because the policy that you have is not the policy that you want enforced. So that's why I brought it up. I'm not trying to be problematic, but we've got to do it the right way. I understand the concerns, but you need to follow that discipline. So when I was told by the president that he wanted the board policy enforced, I will enforce the policy that's in the policy book. I believe it's 221.
It is.
Anything else you want to do, you need to go back and revise the policy. We need to do it the right way.
And we did discuss it, that we do need to update the policy because it was put in the handbook, but not updated in the policy manual. Yeah, and online. So we will work
Mhm.
on
So-
getting that policy updated.
So I just want to be clear. I know you're doing it out of love. I know you care. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we got to do it the right way. And I want to give you input in that policy when we run it through the policy procedure that the board has adopted. Because this isn't my first rodeo with dress codes. So I'll just leave it there.
I'm going to add, based off our conversation, too. So let's get the ball rolling on getting that policy updated and done according to the most recent guidance, which would be the student handbook. Because if that's the most recent guidance, and that's what we're supposed to go off of as well. So let's make sure that we're updating our policy then, based off of the most recent guidance. I think we've heard tonight when thinking about the schools and whatnot and what's going on. It's safe to say that this dress code's not going anywhere anytime soon. And there's no intent for it to go anywhere anytime soon. So let's make sure we put that out there as well for the public to hear. This isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So let's make sure that if it is, the policy itself isn't correct, let's make sure that it matches the student handbook that was the most recent thing done. Let's get the ball rolling. There's no point in waiting. Get the ball rolling then.
All right. Sounds like that's what we'll work on for our next committee meeting.
Thank you. But I did want to say to that, though, it was amazing to hear, not just about uniforms in general, but it was amazing to hear that, schools, students, teachers, staff, the whole nine using it as, a point, you know what I mean, as far as, hey, it's doing some good, right? I think it lets us know that we're on the right track. Now, behind the scenes, we have some work to do, so let's knock it out and get it done. But it's clear that it's working in some way, shape, or form. I think whenever it doesn't work, or whenever there are issues to where it may not be working, like it's a positive night, and I don't want to bring a negative thing into it, but when the little girl's sitting right here and I can see nothing but her stomach because her shirt was cut, and that's a school uniform, right? That's those are things that we don't want to see, because that's quote unquote inappropriate, especially a little girl wearing a shirt cut. It's clear that it's not being enforced. So I think that's what we're talking about, enforcing things like that. It's clear that it's not being enforced. So let's just enforcing it. Let's enforce that or correct that. Let's say correct that. In the meantime, let's make sure that we're getting the ball rolling on getting this policy updated ASAP then.
So I really think that once we get the dress code policy updated, then we'll work on enforcing. But if it's-
100%.
So,
But don't forget, you can correct without enforcing. You can correct. So let's make sure we're saying that you can have corrective actions.
Right.
Let's just
the first
let's not
corrective
forget
action
about
is to get
that.
the policy updated.
Yes, let's not forget about that. You can correct inappropriate things.
Okay, that's
Any
all I
other-
have.
Any other committee reports? All right. None heard. I do have one thing. We talked about the season already too, but um, just want to just make sure that us as a district and where we're going, it's clear that there are things that we're doing. The work is being done on every level, right? It's clear that there is momentum and the ball's rolling, and kids are excited to learn. Kids are excited about what's going on in general, um, with the leaders in the building, the whole nine of staff, admin, everyone. It's very obvious that students want to learn. Students are coming here like, hey, you know what? We get it. We understand it. With that being said, let's make sure that I'm going to say it. Make sure that we're focusing on what our reality is here in Sto-Rox. Let's make sure that we're focusing on those things, because when we start to focus on things outside of here or things that unfortunately we have no control over, that's where we lose sight of the small things. So we got to make sure that we're focusing on what's here, what we can control, because when we start doing that, we get stuff like what's going on today happens. That's the beauty of it all. When we start doing that, that's the beauty of it all. So let's make sure that we're focusing on what's here and what we can control and what our district can actually operate as, before we start thinking elsewhere down the line. That's all I'm saying. So, with that being said, not hearing any other comment. Our next meeting is going to take place at Parkway West next month on March 20th, 2025. Um, that'll be published and everything as well with the address. After that, we'll be back here at the high school on March 27th, and then April 17th we will be at the Focus on Renewal Center. I was going to say this is the wrong address. It should be 420 Short Series Avenue. So we can just easily correct that one, please. We can make that happen. But with that being said, can I have a motion to adjourn? Have a second? Means adjourn.